Hello? Hello. I'm Earl. How are we doing today? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Yeah. Alright, so today we are doing a mock draft. We're doing a 3-round mock draft. Why 3 rounds? Well, this will be for it to be. I generally know who's expected to go like the top 15. But after that, I have no idea who any of these people are. So it's gonna be fun. Just randomly projecting people to different places. But it's mostly for the first round. But the first round will be kind of serious, and then second and third will be mostly just like, what do people even need, and who are any of these people? Yeah. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm not gonna do any trades, because yeah. But I mean, for the most part, we're gonna be pretty easy with who we're picking, especially this first pick. This first pick is like the easiest pick in the world. Everybody knows who it's going to be. I'm not gonna spend any time on it. We're just gonna take Cam Ward, obviously. Browns is where it kind of gets interesting. This is where people are expecting possibly some trades up. I don't think the Browns are going to, and I think they're just going to take Travis Hunter. And then the Giants, I would love to laugh. I would love to laugh and see them take like Shador. Because, I mean, frankly, that's a Giants thing to do. I don't think they're going to this time. I think they've gotten at least smarter with how they draft, even if not everybody they draft hits. I think they've gotten smarter with how they draft, and they're not just forcing bad quarterback. And that's not really saying Shador's bad, but he's not. There's a reason reports are coming out that a lot of people don't even have a first round grade on him. Even Cam Ward, like teams are willing to reach for a quarterback. Like Cam Ward is maybe like the 15th best. It's kind of pushing it to like the 15th best prospect this year. But he's gonna go number 1 overall just because he's a quarterback. But I think the Giants aren't going to quite force Shador up that high when he's not even projected first round, especially when Abdul Carter's right there. Oh, we're going to have to actually make the smart pick. And then Patriots obviously need offensive line. A lot of the things I'm seeing, like, is it going to be... they don't have what I usually see right there. Oh, yeah, there he is, Will Campbell. A lot of people say like Will Campbell, but I actually think there's a better one, and I think it's Armand Memba. I think he's actually better than Campbell. I think the general thing is Campbell is left side, Armand is right, but generally just they need help on everywhere on the line, and I just think Armand is better from what I've seen. We're going to do that. Now we got the Jags. Now, the Jags would be smart to probably not take Ashton Jeanty. Because they just need so much help everywhere else. They need defense. That's why a lot of people say Mason Graham. Tight end's a huge one. I actually really like Tyler Walker or Tyler Warren to them. But I think they're starting to set their sights on Jeanty a little bit, even if it is, I think, a little bit of a mistake, just because they have so many things that they need to cover first. But I think ultimately, yep, that's probably where we're going. early on, a lot of people were saying like Mason Graham. I actually pretty early on with who their good coaches was like. I actually thought Tyler Warren would get a lot more attention here, and I still think he could. But I think writing's starting to kind of get on the wall here that the Jags are really looking at Genty, so which actually is kind of nice for the Raiders because now they're not forcing running back when they have so many greater needs. I think a big thing here could be Mason Graham, get that big DT. Will Campbell, I think, would be big because they don't. Who is on their line? Let me see here. So, Oakland Raiders roster. So, who is currently on their offensive line? So guards, we got Kappa, who's not bad, but that's about the only thing there. And offensive tackles. Oh, we've got just nobody. Like one reason they struggled so badly this last year was just how bad their offensive line was. I don't know why this thing's not saying that's one of their biggest needs. I think on here it says offensive line is really one of their biggest needs because they have such a bad line. So I definitely see them taking. I think right here as well, we'll see Will Campbell. Jets, another one that kind of needs that offensive line, but the top two are kind of off the board. Owen Banks is a little bit farther down. And then I think we're here. We're just going to go and get just the best player available, which at this point would be Mason Graham. Carolina, I think, really wants to open things up a lot more for Bryce Young, try to get him some weapons. It was very clear last year that he just had nobody to throw the ball to, especially once, why am I forgetting his name? The former Viking went down. Let's see here. What was his name? Let's go here. Roster. It makes me bad about not remembering his name. He actually went to the same college as I did. Where is he? Adam Thielen. There he is. So as soon as Adam Thielen went down, like Thielen's already kind of getting up there in age, so he's not going to be your number one guy anymore. Just because he's just been around for so long. I still think Thielen can be a consistent receiver for you, but as soon as he went down, like Andy Dalton ran out of people to throw to, and which meant by the time Bryce Young kind of came back after Andy Dalton got in that car accident, and he started looking better, he didn't really have anybody to throw to. So I think right here, as much as you would love to go like wide receiver, I don't think it kind of rates Tet. This one kind of rates Tet really high. I don't think Tet is going to consider that high, and I'm going to actually have him take Tyler Warren, which is sad because he's who I want for the Broncos. Now for the Saints, again, be hilarious for the Saints to take Shador, but they're not going to. In fact, based on what we're hearing, actually more likely to take Jackson Dart, which would be even funnier. Like, frankly, because Dart is actually probably worse. Shador, like, they're both okay. They'll both probably be decent, but I don't. They're not worth taking top 10. I think your best option for like Shador and Jackson Dart. And while I'm not gonna do any trades in this, just because I have no idea how to project those. The best way to kind of get Shador and Jackson Dart is to kind of wait till the late first round and try to trade up into the first round, because then you're kind of getting closer to their value. But I think they're just gonna go. They really need a lot of help, like, everywhere. I think they're actually probably a team that might be trying to trade down. Because if you ask me what the needs of the Saints are, my answer would just be yes. So I just don't see that. So I think they'll probably go best player that they can. This one probably has Will Johnson, but I actually think there's a better one, and that is the Georgia player, Jalen Walker. Jalen probably could be a top 5 pick. I think he might be. I think he still might go top 5, but just with kind of where teams are needing to pick, I think he's going to fall a little bit, but I think the Saints they need everything, and so just going and getting Jalen Walker would be a huge pickup for them. So then we have the Bears. Let's see here. I could see them going like Wilson Loveland. They need. They have kind of helped a lot of their offensive line right there. Corner would be kind of huge. Who do they currently have at corner? Who do the Bears currently have at corner? Corner, they have Jaden Johnson, McLeod, Terrell Smith. They don't really have a great corner, so I could definitely see them trying to pick up that. So I actually really like that. So yeah, let's go with Will Johnson. 49ers probably already said that Jalen Walker's off the board. They need help right there. They could also try to get some help on the offensive line, but they need more interior offensive line. Green might be an option. Colson Loveland's another option for them, because you just never know when. Why am I blanking on names today? Kittle. Kittle's just always hurt. It's one thing that's really kind of holding them back a lot, is every time Kittle comes back, he just instantly gets hurt. I think they're kind of okay at the wide receiver. They might address it a little bit more later in the draft, but right now they have Jawan Jennings and rookie Pearsall. Ayuk is still technically there. I thought Ayuk got traded. Did Ayuk not get traded? Oh, no. Okay. Guess not. I keep thinking Ayuk can get traded. I guess he hasn't been. Yep. So, if they still have Ayuk, it was Debo that got traded. But yeah. They still have Ayuk. They still have Jawan. They still have Ricky Pearsall. So they're kind of okay wide receiver wise. Trying to shore up that some of the lost pieces of the defense might be a big thing that they might want to try to do. But again, we just had the best corner just come off the board, and some of the defensive tackles are already gone. Could try to reach a little bit. Malachi Starks might not be too bad here. I think Malachi Starks is pretty decent. I think this thing has Malachi Starks a lot higher. Obviously, none of these things are super. This is it with their ratings. I don't know. This one has Malachi Starks even lower. This is 1 through 23, and Malachi Starks isn't even on here. Mikael is a big one. This might be a good one right here. Actually, yeah, I actually really like that. Mikael Williams. Yeah, Mike Green's not bad. I think Mikael, just getting the other Georgia guy right here, might be really nice. Yep, right there. Get that edge. Kind of help that defense out a little bit. Cowboys will do something probably silly because they still have Jerry Jones as their owner. And so, yeah. I could see them probably. I know there's the thing with oh god, why am I blanking on names today? Mel Kiper Jr. having them take Omari and Hamden, which wouldn't be horrible, but I think it's a better reach right there, especially with how much need they have everywhere else. Most people have them looking wide receiver, which is probably what I'm going to do. And I think the one that people genuinely say that they like the most is Matthew Golden out of Texas. He gets to stay kind of closer to where he already is. It's a bit speedier. So yeah. Dolphins. I could use one because who knows what's happening with. Why am I Tyreek here? I could also see them trying to protect Tua. Again, I'm blanking the names today. I don't know why. I could see them trying to protect Tua a bit more. So yeah. So we might do that. Again, I like the idea of Malachi Starks right there. I think he's pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah. Todd Campbell. Who's kind of up here for like offensive line that's still around. Go Calvin Banks. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of interior offensive line. But you probably just need offensive line in general. Yeah. So we're gonna probably just have them take the best offensive lineman, which is Calvin Banks. Try and then what they already need to draft is somebody to just talk with Tua. Be like, diving headfirst into plays, not the smartest idea. That's what they need to draft. They just need to draft a advisor for Tua. I'm gonna go best offensive lineman here, which is probably Kelvin Banks. Then we have Colts. Colts' biggest need is by far their tight end. They also need a quarterback. Let's be honest. But they're still gonna try to make Anthony Richardson work. We'll see. Maybe it'll turn into a Josh Allen situation where they didn't give up on Bills did not give up on Josh Allen after a couple of years, even though he was kind of struggling, and he turned out really well. Allen at least had the skill. Was much better than what Anthony Richardson is. He was a little inconsistent, but was starting to kind of get there already. And then he had some people just kind of step in and really help him. That's what Richardson really needs, is just to be like, find the people that helped Josh Allen be a more accurate passer. But I think next year Colts are probably looking quarterback. But I think their biggest need by far is tight end, so they're gonna go Colts. Now the Falcons are clearly gonna go quarterback. But as much as they should take like an edge or defensive player, one thing I know about the Falcons is they always, for some reason, take skill position. Like legit, let's look at Falcons' first round history. What was the last one? Let's see here. So, one right here. So, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. They had cornerback in 2020, but I mean, they didn't need to do it. They always seem to do this. Like, it's just like, it's bad. It's so bad, and I think they're gonna do it again. I don't think they really like where Drake London is, and even with Drake London, they're gonna be, oh, Drake London needs some help. Let's get Panic some help, and they're gonna go and they're gonna take Ted. Even though they don't need it. They don't need it. So then we got the Cardinals. See what they say: edge, CT, wide receiver, guard, linebacker. I don't think they're gonna take wide receiver because of who they. Let's see. They're saying offensive line, wide receiver, defensive line, cornerback. So let's see here. Defensive line, probably Simmons might be a decent one. Defensive line, you got Jaden Barron, Derek Harmon. Let's see here. Who does this have as best guys I have left for stuff like those positions? Banks is gone. Banks is gone. They could take Shamar. I am not sold on Shamar at all, and I think he's going to he's still going to go first round, but I think he's going to go like in the 20s. See here. Ted, Pierce. James Pierce might not be too bad actually right there. Wow, they have Mason Taylor pretty high. Don Jackson, Tyler Booker, Derek Harmon. But we're going to go James Pierce. I actually really like James Pierce right there. Bengals. Who's the best defensive player left? Shamar? Mike Green. Alright, they're just going to go Shamar. They're going to be like, they're going to force this. They're going to force something. They could also go Jedi Barron. Get that corner. Could go with my green. Actually, kind of like them picking up a corner right here. I think they could really use something like that. It might be a little bit high for Jedi, but let's see. No, they have them decent, so we're gonna have them take Jedi. I think they just need defense. They need whoever is left around that is just the best defensive player left, and frankly, that's probably Jedi. So, Seahawks need offensive line. Fortunately, a lot of them are kind of coming off the board. Could go Tyler Booker, could go Josh Simmons, could go, let's see here. Could go Donovan Jackson. Donovan Jackson might not be too bad. Josh Simmons. I think in general they just need. I think we're gonna go Josh Simmons. I think just tackles are just usually a bit higher on boards than guards, so we're gonna go Josh Simmons. Buccaneers, so they need cornerback, safety, edge, linebacker, defensive tackle. So a few defensive tackles left. Let's see who NFL.com's what they say they kind of need: linebacker, corner, and offensive line. This actually might be the spot for Shamar right here. So actually, yeah, I actually think this might be the spot for Shamar right here. I think it's a little. I think Shamar's a bit of a boomer bust. He's one of those guys that has the physical tools, but has not put it together at all. So yeah, we'll go Shamar. Broncos. So, fortunately, the two guys I thought what might fall to us that I'd be really kind of interested in are gone. That would be Tet and Loveland. So right here, they are going to take what a lot of people think they're going to take, which is Omari and Hampton. Steelers, this is kind of where Shamar probably falls to. And I think, I'm not quite sure. I think it very much depends on what their negotiations with Aaron Rodgers are actually looking like. I think this pick's going to really tell that story. If they actually believe they're going to sign, like, Rodgers is taking his time, that's fine, but he is going to sign with us, I think they pass on Shador. Probably take, like Derek Harmon, Malachi Starks, or a lot of these other guys. Probably Derek Harmon. I think Derek Harmon would be a great pick here. But it really depends on where their negotiations are with Rodgers. If they're not sure, they pick Shador. And I don't think Rodgers is even giving them an update. So they have to be not sure. So that's they have to take Shador here. Chargers, they need a wide receiver, but they could try to reach a little bit for Ibuka. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I think really I think right here, just with how the things have fallen, I think reaching for Ibuka is a bit much. I don't think Ibuka is even as high as this is saying. I think Ibuka is likely to go second round. So I'm going to have him pick probably just best player available, which in my opinion is Derek Harmon, not Mike Green. So we're going to have him take Derek Harmon. Packers need a lot. Mostly just defense. Mike Green is still there. We also have Donovan Azaruka, which is probably a better player than Mike Green. We're probably likely to go there. Just taking a look. Scorton, Mason Taylor's available. Donovan Jackson, if they want guard, still available. Booker's available. Getting offensive line to help. Their offensive line isn't bad per se, but you can never stop improving your offensive line. But I think right there, based on how everything's fallen, we're going to take Donovan Azaruaku. I totally mispronounced that. I've been watching some of his tape. Also get Nick Emawari. They do need a safety. These are the last two guys I think on this board. Oh, this has a Luther Burden. I actually don't know who that is. So basically, there's still Mike Green over here too. They could go get an edge rusher in Mike Green. But I think they're going to go... Or I think they're going to go Nick Emmanwari. We're going to go Nick Emmanwari. Vikings, they could really use... they just need help on defense, and probably the best defensive guy left is probably Mike Green. So we're gonna go and get Mike Green. They picked an edge rusher I think last year too, and he just I think that was him. Because it was after they picked JJ McCarthy. They picked, who was it? Dallas Turner, who's a bit more linebacker. But they could just use more help at edge. So we're going to have them go Mike Green. Okay, best offensive lineman for the Texans. Probably we got Donovan Jackson is up there, Tyler Booker. Yeah, we're gonna go Booker. Rams. This is possibly a spot for Jackson Dart. This is actually probably a good spot for Jackson Dart too. I really like the idea of him, especially for a guy like Jackson Dart. I think he has a lot of skills that need refinement. He could be a Jordan Love type player, where he's just that strong arm, takes risks, but gets away with it enough times because of his talent, but because he's also sat behind a really... Jordan Love sat behind a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Stafford's kind of on that cusp, where people are he's debatable. I think he probably will get into the Hall of Fame, but I don't think it'll be a first ballot situation. Like, kind of sitting behind that guy, similar to like a Patrick Mahomes, where he has the talent and the tools. He just needs some guidance in how to refine them. and sitting behind Stafford for a year or two could really help Jackson Dart. And actually, I think I'm actually talking myself into it, and I think it would work really well for them. I think somebody's going to trade up with like the Vikings or the Chargers. If the Steelers take Shador, I think somebody's going to trade up with either like the Vikings or the Chargers or the Packers even, to go and get Jackson Dart. So he might not fall to this part, but I'm not doing trades, so I think this is a really good spot for Jackson Dart. I personally don't think, I'm very hesitant with Jackson Dart. I would have probably early second, probably closer to like a mid-second round grade on Jackson Dart. But it's one of those things where teams will force the quarterback. And actually, I think right now the Rams don't have nearly as many holes. They've got a couple, but there's stuff that are very easily fixable. They kept a lot of their key pieces. So just kind of starting to plan for the future. We know Stafford's not going to be around for much longer. He'll probably be around for, I'm going to say probably 2 years. So getting Jackson Dart here and giving him learning behind Stafford, I think would be very, very good for the Rams. And hopefully it works out. Again, I think he could be a Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to say Patrick Mahomes because that's just putting way too much on that. But again, similar where Patrick Mahomes had a lot of the tools but needed that refinement. And just sitting behind Alex Smith, being coached by Andy Reid, this is kind of a very similar situation where it's sitting behind Matthew Stafford, being coached by oh my god, I'm blanking on names today. His name will probably come to me before I even get there. Sean McVay, or similar to Jordan Love, where he sat behind Aaron Rodgers and was being coached by oh my god. LaFleur. I think a lot of this is kind of that same situation as all these other guys kind of had, and I think so far we've seen it work, and so I think the Rams might try to take that approach. I think it does kind of depend on how much longer McVay plans to coach. I know a couple years ago, after he won the Super Bowl, there was some talk about him going up to the booth, taking off from coaching and going up to the booth. I think he's kind of more or less kind of settled back down into he likes being that coach, but we'll also kind of see. But we'll see. I think with Jackson Dart, I think it's a good fit for Dart. I think it's a good fit for him. So we have the Ravens, and Ravens need passing defense like there's no tomorrow, so we're just going to grab the best pass defensive player, which is Malachi Starks, and he's gone. Lions need to draft health. They just need to draft not being hurt. I think they don't have too many holes. They have some really good wide receivers on the team. Namely Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have really good tight end. Williams, I think his last name's Williams, is really good. He just needs to mature. I think defense is really where they're probably gotta be looking. Edge is definitely one. Ezeruaku might be a good fit right here. There's Corton, guard. They have a really good offensive line, but I could see them trying to get Gray Zabel. One over Trey Amos. Safety. There's some safeties left. Let's see here. There's some safeties left. Maybe not. We already had Eminwari go. Yeah, there's not really a lot of safeties left. Oy. That kind of hurts them a little bit. Corner. There's not a lot of corner. There's Hairston, which would be a little bit of a reach. Could go get Scorton. Again, could go get Emin. How far down do they have the other guy? Oh no, he's right there. So I think actually right there. One thing with Edge is they do have the guy that they drafted just a couple years ago. When the Jags should have taken. The guy from Detroit went to Michigan. I'm bad with names, just in general. Like, this is not just like me being anything. This is just me being bad with names. Aiden Hutchinson. But again, like, you can kind of match Aiden Hutchinson with somebody. Aiden also, I think, plays a little bit more on the line. So I could be wrong with that. So I think getting that edge with Ezeruaku. Again, I've watched stuff for him, but I cannot pronounce his name. As we are able to tell, I'm bad with names. We could go Trey Amos, but we're gonna go ahead. Okay, Washington. They need Jahad Campbell might be really good here. I actually think that might be good. Right there. Where does have Jahad? Again, there's still Luther. I don't know who this guy is at all. He's like something I've not heard of. We'll get that done. Scorton's right there. Who am I looking for? Jahad Campbell. Did I have Jahad? No, he's right there. He's down here. Linebacker. I think this could be a really good fit. I'm not as familiar with his stuff, but I've heard people talk about him. Oh, he has a lot of that upside to him. We're gonna go right there. Buffalo. I kind of like them taking Egbuka. I don't think it's. I think it's a little bit of a reach to take Egbuka. They could also go and get Amos. They could get Zabel, get Scorton. I think defense is actually a huge need for them. Their offense is actually like by the fact that Josh Allen won MVP last year, you're gonna say their offense isn't bad. I think he could use a couple more weapons because it was very clear he had to rely on his legs a lot. But I think that is letting his wide receivers mature a little bit. They picked the guy in like very early second round last year. I think it was the first pick of the second round last year. So letting their guys like mature could really help them in that sense, or instead of forcing another wide receiver. And I think defense really did cost them a lot last year. And obviously now Vaughn's no longer there. Vaughn was already like a rotational player at best. So we're gonna go Nick Scorton. Chiefs. ET could get Walter Nolan, could get Greg Zabel. I do think they need a offensive lineman. Mahomes got beat up quite a bit last year, so I think getting Zabel could really help them. Where does this have Zabel? Is there a better one? It's Connerly, Booker. Oh, I don't see Zabel on here. Let's see before that. No. Yeah, he's all the way down here. So maybe Zabel's down here. So maybe a bit of a reach there. Could always go for like Donovan Jackson's still available. Yeah, he's still right there. Kind of depends on who you trust with your grades. I've heard a bit more about Gray Zabel than I've heard about Donovan Jackson. Haven't heard too much about either one of them. Like, we're now getting very much the edge of players I've heard about, unless like the Broncos were looking for them. People were like talking about them as potential hits for the Broncos. But we're kind of getting to that edge of who I've actually heard about. So I think we're gonna go, and we could go Walter Nolan. Where do they have Nolan? I'm trying to get like some sort of consensus kind of where these guys are. Again, Donovan Jackson isn't bad. Has tougher levels competition at Ohio State than North Dakota State. That's probably one of the things that is one of the defining points right there. I don't see Nolan at all. Yeah, because at this point we're kind of getting to, we are definitely at those edges of people I've at least heard about. Where is this guy? This guy, they have him at 26. I'm now on page 4. There's 23 per. Or how many are there per page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 20 per page. So this is like 80, and I have not seen this Nolan guy on them. Which means I probably missed him. Because I doubt there's gonna be some separation between who you trust on these things, but usually it's not that wide. Where they have him as the 26th prospect, and I was like in the 80s. And had not even seen him. Oh, they have him as way up there. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. I thought it basically, besides Luther Burden, had this out, but he's still way up there. Fuck. Let's go get Nolan. I think they could really use it. Offensive line, obviously, big need for them, but if this has him at 26 and this has him at 7, like, picking at 31, we're in good range there. With the offensive linemen, it kind of depends on who you're asking of where they fall. I'm kind of trusting this a little bit more because they have guys like they had like the quarterbacks further down. Yeah, because this doesn't have Cam Ward on the first page, which makes sense. Like, these are not the best ones. So I'm kind of trusting this one a little bit more. They're saying 7. I think either way is a good pick for them, whether that it's Nolan, Zabel, or the other one I was kind of looking at, which was, I don't see him on here. Donovan Jackson. So I think this is just a good pick. We could use guard, edge. I think with that, we're gonna. They are not the Eagles. Oh, why can't I not remember his name? Howie Roseman. They are not going to pick somebody from North Dakota State. They are going to pick somebody that you've heard of, that has a big name. So they're going to pick somebody from Ohio State. So Trevion might be somebody. It's not going to be Trevion, but like somebody like from Ohio State or Michigan or Alabama. They're not going to go Jalen Milroe, but they're going to pick somebody that you've heard of. And so for this, we are going to go. Did I already have them take? Yeah. You can see them taking Donovan Jackson, continuing their offensive line dominance. They have the best offensive line. I'm kind of surprised it's a little bit on there. In the corner, I think they're really good at corner. But that's the thing, like the Eagles, they don't have a lot of holes. And I think right now, they take offensive line, continue to shore up that offensive line, because they know that's what's winning them Super Bowls right now. It's just how dominant the offensive line is. So we're having them take Donovan Jackson. And we are through the first round. Doing good. Cleveland. So Cleveland, they are definitely going to start. This is where they're going to start looking at that quarterback, because they passed on it on round 1. There's still Milroe and there's still Shuck. So I think that's what these next 2 picks are going to be, and I think Cleveland's going to go Milroe. Giants, I actually expect them to trade up into the first round and go for either Jackson Dart or Shador. But if they don't trade back in and everything just falls, and everybody just sticks and picks, I think they are going to go. Where the fuck is Shuck? Where the fuck is Shuck? Tyler Shuck, there he is. Alright, so now we're back to the Titans, who need everything. I definitely think getting a wide receiver for the new Cam Ward, with how everything's kind of lining up. They could also go Trey Amos here, would probably be a good fit. Try to shore up that defense, because let's just face it, neither side of the ball was good for them this last year. But so we're gonna go. Let's head about the same spot, a little bit. So these are pretty accurate, similar with where they have Amos. So I think Amos right here would make a lot of sense, because they have their corner. There's a lot of wide receivers still in this draft, and I think right now they have so many needs. They need to really shore up just everything. So I think I would go ahead and take right here Trey Amos. Jacksonville. So we had Jacksonville. Who do we have from taking? We had them taking Ashton Jeanty. So they did that. I think them getting an offensive lineman would be really helpful. This is saying offensive tackle, so we could go Josh Cornerly. Where does this have Cornerly? Again, just trying, because I haven't heard about all of these people now. I'm just trying to get more consensus now. That's Cornerly about the same spot. So I let's go ahead and have them protect Trevor Lawrence. I would, in my opinion, I think offensive line is really what they either offensive line or tight end is really what they should do in round 1. But in general, people are saying they're looking dead in the eye at Ashton Jeanty and going, we want that on our team, which I mean makes sense. I mean, he is one of the best running back prospects we've seen come out of college in a while, probably since Saquon himself. And there's been some high-end running back talents that have come out since Saquon, and Jeanty's probably better than all those guys. Jeanty is so good, so I can understand them going, we want that. But now they need to actually do the smart picks, and I think right there we're going Josh Connery. Raiders, we had pick Will Campbell, offensive tackle, so we're kind of good right there. They could also again go Greg Zabel, continue, but we're going to get them a weapon. Again, they don't have a quarterback. And at this point, they're kind of gone. There's not another one for a while. We could even go up here. Let's look at quarterbacks. Let's look at QBs. Gone. So Cam Ward gone. Shedeur Sanders gone. Jackson Dart gone. Tyler Shuck gone. Quinn Ewers is up there. Jaden Miller will go. I think a lot of people are expecting. I actually really like Quinn Ewers, and I think he's going to be really good. But I think he falls a little bit farther. I think he's probably a 3rd round talent. I think the Raiders could definitely be taking a look at him, but I think at this point they have subjected themselves to looking at next year. Because just of where they're picking, they're another team that could possibly be trying to trade up into the 1st round and try to get, if Shedeur falls, or try to get Jackson Dart. I don't think they're a good situation for Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart really needs to sit behind somebody, and I guess they do have that with Geno. That's the one nice thing. And so they're probably looking at, we have Geno for now. Geno is okay. So we are gonna go and have them grab Ekbuka. They do just need some targets. They have a really good tight end, but just having more targets for. We could also go Trevion here. Trevion, it would be very useful right here for them. In fact, I'm actually starting to kind of talk myself into that. He's a target in the passing game. He can take some pressure off of Geno with the running game. Geno needs a good running game to really thrive. So having a Trevion come in here, I think could work really well for them. So we're actually gonna have them take Trevion Henderson. Patriots again. We had them take offensive lineman. Which part of the offensive line? Tackle. Cool. We're having them take guard. We could have them take Ekbuka. They do need targets for Drake May. So we could have them take Ekbuka. Patriots have all. I think right now the Patriots are going, we need to build in the trenches. We're still several years out. So getting a high-end, top-end talent like Ekbuka right now, especially since there's some real question marks with Ekbuka. people were thinking going into this last season that he was gonna be like possibly a top 10 pick kind of guy, and then he wasn't even like, he was like the third best receiver on Ohio State. Now that is Ohio State, but yeah, he became like the third receiver on Ohio State, and like that's huge. Like, is he somebody you want to tie a top end pick to? So I'm going to have him continue to build that offensive line, build in the trenches, and try to get better that way. We're going Greg Zabel. Bears. So we had them take. Who did we have them take? Will Johnson. So we had them take Will Johnson, cornerback. I could definitely see them taking. I think probably at this point, probably corner is probably another big thing for them. Oh no, Will Johnson is corner. I don't know anymore. Could have them take what wide receivers that really need for them. They have, they still have Moore, DJ Moore. They still have Rome Odunze. I don't see them taking another wide receiver right here, which is kind of unfortunate because those are probably the best players on the board. Right here would be a big spot to kind of trade back. Let's see here. We're gonna go. Pierce is gone. Scorton's gone. We could go Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor could be pretty decent for them. Who do they have right now as their tight end? There's roster. Who do they have at tight end right now? Cole Kmet. But having another guy, Cole Kmet's good, but having another guy there could really help them. What are the anyway to kind of look at what people are saying about Mason Taylor? What's he kind of looking at? Is he more of a blocking tight end? Is he more of a? If he's a blocking tight end, I think they grab him. This is gonna take forever. Okay. Taylor. Scouting report. Let's see here. Right, 80% blocking. Yeah, he's alright. Defensive Zeroing began with Miles 3-star rating. Tight end record books. So he is definitely a passing tight end, which doesn't. I'm not writing him off on that. I think they would probably prefer more of a blocking tight end, but those are usually guys you get a little bit later. So yeah. I think them having another tight end. Kmet is also kind of a decent catcher. And plays. I'm guessing one of the weaknesses is against power rushers. Gets walked back. Yeah, a lot of it's blocking. That's his weaknesses. But I think limited experiences in inline. Probably why he falls the second round. I'm gonna still probably have him take him. I think if he can get better as a blocker, he's somebody the Bears would really want. But him being a pass catcher, again, Kmet is not a bad blocking tight end either. But having two route running tight ends could be really helpful. Wow, they have Mason Taylor kind of lower. One thing they could look at is waiting for Harold Fannin. later in the draft. I think Harold Fannin is a better blocking tight end. Same thing with Terrence Ferguson. So I think, that said, I think we're going to have him wait there. I don't know. It's just kind of... so we have Kenneth Grant, Lee Williams. I mean, getting that defensive tackle, what do they need? Defensive lineman. So getting that defensive tackle could be big. So getting a Kenneth Grant or Tyreek Williams could be big for them. Who does this have as the better one? Harmon. We've already had go. Tyreek. Kenneth Grant. We'll have him go. We're gonna have him go Tyreek. I think I'm having. Again, it kind of depends at this point, like, which board do you trust more? And which school do you like more? Michigan or Ohio State? Which usually doesn't matter too much to the GMs, but it does. Like, they do go on who they've seen more, and they usually have seen more of the team that they like more. Saints are going to Buka. Pretty sure Saints are just picking, again, Saints are just picking best player available because they need everything. There's not a position they don't need, so they are going straight for the best available. According to this, it's Burden. According to this, it's Ibuka. I've heard more about Ibuka. I've seen Ibuka. I think Ibuka's good. We're gonna have him take Ibuka. Now they have two wide receivers from Ohio State. They also have the guy from a few years ago. Let's go depth chart. Olave. Olave's okay. They also do have Brandon Cooks, but Cooks is older. And having just another guy, I think Ibuka can really fill a role there. Again, you could argue Luther Burden. I don't know anything about him. I went with the guy I've heard of. That's just all that is right there. Bears back on the clock. So we've had them take different tackle. We've had them take corner. Unfortunately, that kind of fills a lot of things. I could see them going for safety with Maxwell Harrison. Since that's what this is saying is kind of the best available. Let's see here. I think this had Harrison a little bit higher. Yeah, this had Harrison back on the second page, so he's a little bit higher here. So we're gonna have him take Harrison. I think it's good value right there. Not Harrison. Oh shit! I looked at instead of because we had them take corner. So let's look at Xavier Watts. Or does this have Watts? If this is even close to kind of they are, yeah. We're gonna have them take Xavier Watts right here. I think it's a good positional fit. They need some more help there. It even says it right there. I think it said on there. So we're gonna have them pick Xavier Watts. Jets. 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 So we had them take Mason Graham round one. Pretty just kind of best available. This is wide receiver. I think they're kind of okay there. I'm gonna have them take a pass catching tight end, Mason Taylor. Now that we know he's a pass catching tight end, let's have him grab that. 49ers. We had them take Mikael Williams round 1, edge. There's a few guys around here. They definitely think corner is a good thing to kind of look at. Siobhan Revel and Maxwell Hairston are kind of guys you should be looking at. This had Hairston on this page. So this had Hairston right here. And Revel, I think, was on the next page. Yeah. So again, it kind of depends on who you trust more. This one has them like neck and neck. This one had them a little bit more separated. We're gonna go Hairston here. Cowboys. So Cowboys round 1, we had them take Matthew Golden, wide receiver. Now I think high offensive line is kind of where they should be looking. Edge is another one. Landon Jackson's right there. Next offensive lineman is Jonah Savania. Again, I'm bad with names, especially since we're now to the people I have not heard of. See here. Landon Jackson's right there. He's on page 2, so that's kind of a pretty decent thing. He's kind of one of the last guys on this page. There's also JT Tuimoloa. But yeah, he's kind of, at this point, one of the last people on this page. Most of these guys are gone. Yeah, we're going to have take Landon Jackson. Colts. So yeah, I don't take Colston Loveland. So center, guard, linebacker, QB. There's not really a lot of that right here. Let's see, what does this say the Colts are really needing? Again, it kind of depends a lot on who you ask. Colts need a lot of things: offensive line, linebacker, running back. Could go Caleb Johnson for that running back. Wyatt Millam for awesome offensive line. A little bit of reach there. Jonas Sava and Nia. Again, a little bit of that reach. Kenneth Grant for defensive tackle. Never really have too much on that line. Yeah, I think all the guys I had on here are gone. Disable. Trapibo. I don't see or the other guy. Oh, there's Millam. And so I've not seen the other guy. Savania. Oh, minimum's right there. Yeah. On page 4, so like 80 is where they have him. Let's see here. Zabel, I have gone. Ozzy, Shapiro. Somebody kind of look at. Yeah, I don't see the other guy. Savania. I could be missing him. Probably am, because, wait, again, it's kind of those things like this is player 100, and they have him at player 50. Usually there's not that big of a difference. I guess that's player 80. Yeah, I mean, player 80 and 52. I mean, you're going to start seeing bigger differences now. You kind of go through. I'm just trying to get a little bit more consensus. And again, just not seeing the other guy. Because this is page 6 now. Which means this is 120 and I haven't seen him. Oh, they have him. Oh, he's way down there. Wow. Because this is 139. And based on that, it'd be I think based on this, probably looking more at Wyatt than the other guy. Well, let me go back and look at the other, find the other guy. We're not looking at. There's Marcus Mimbo, Anthony Boat. It was on this page. It was Ozzy. Where does this have Ozzy? $76. Wow. Well, again, it kind of depends on who you ask, because this has him at 76, but this one has him at 59. So I don't know, 58. So it very much depends on who you ask. Who do the Colts have at receiver? Pittman, Pierce. Both of these guys are kind of old, aren't they? Oh, Adonai Mitchell is terrible. But, I mean, Pittman. Pittman's only like 5 years in the league, but. Oh, Pierce is a lot younger than I thought he was. I mean, Bonham. Let's see. Because I actually don't know where to go here. I'm linebacker, running back. There's a linebacker right there. Not really. There's Carson Schwarzenegger. The guy that's still here from this page is there's one somewhere. Oh no, it was Mason Taylor, but I had him take Taylor. Edge, Mondin. That's about it right there. Stutzman. Says some. There's another guy that's pretty. As I'm just missing him. Let's see here. What's his name? Schwessinger. SCH. Oh, so he would be actually on this page. Actually, he'd be all the way up here. Yeah, he's on this page. So we're gonna have to take that. Cause this has him top 40. 748. So I think that's just that's good, right around where they are. So yeah. Okay, we finally made it through that pick. That took a while. That really did. Falcons. Yeah, they take 10. Well, did they need Tet? No. They absolutely did not need Tet. But they took Tet. Also Demetrius Knight right there. I think I haven't had anybody take yet. JT Tuimalau. I might be. Where's JT? Right there, 55. That might be a decent fit right there. Have them take that edge. They really do need an edge rusher. Yeah. Cardinals. Cardinals, we had take James Pierce, edge. Wide receiver they want, according to this, which makes sense. I didn't have them take a wide receiver round 1. Kenneth Grant is still there. Luther Burden. I'm going to have him take Luther Burden, probably. Because, again, they do need a wide receiver. All they really have is Marvin Harrison Jr. This has Luther Burden on the first page, like top 20. And he's now fallen to 47. We're gonna have him take him. Dolphins, we had take Calvin Banks, offensive tackle. Kenneth Grant might be a good one right there. Where does it have Grant? 6.34. So he would be on this page right there. And that's right where we're looking. This would be 44. This is a bit higher, better than that. So yeah. They could go, because they are trying to get rid of Jaden Ramsey. Siobhan Revel might be okay here too. Revel's right there. Actually, yeah, with them potentially getting rid of Jaden Ramsey, we're gonna have them actually get younger here. We're gonna have to take Siobhan Revel. Bengals. Oh. They took corner. So now it's time for a DT. Kenneth Grant. They need defense. I would not be surprised if the Bengals went all defense. Okay. Seahawks. Trey Harris. Let's see here. Jack Beck is right there. Jaden Higgins. Jaden Royals. Trey Harris. Isaiah Bond. Jack Beck. I think there's enough wide receivers right here. We're gonna probably go Jack Beck. This has it's a bit of a reach, but I actually don't think it is. Broncos. Broncos are probably also looking wide receiver right here. Jaden Higgins is a big one right here. I think Higgins is falling a lot more than he probably should. We're going to have him take Higgins. Seahawks again. So, Seahawks have taken Josh Sims at offensive tackle, and Jack Beck at wide receiver. We're going to have him go Wyatt Minimum. Go up that offensive guard. Buccaneers. See here. But who did we have him take round one? We had them take Shamar Stewart. So, Azariah Thomas. Probably a decent one right there. Yeah. I'm going to take Thomas. It's on the last page. Was there a corner? No, we haven't had taken yet. Not really. Nah. No. Siobhan Revel, I think we already had taken. Yeah, we already had Revel taken. So, Azariah Thomas, you are now a Buccaneer. Green Bay. We had Green Bay take Nick Emenwari, safety. I think there's a few things that they could reuse. I think a tight end, another wide receiver could be really helpful here. They could also get a Kate and Sean Jenkins, kind of help out Josh Jacobs. I think that's a little bit early from what they're wanting. This one, probably the next one. This one has his Royals. So, yeah. It's down here. Yeah. Shannon Royals. Welcome to Green Bay. I think right now we're just experiencing that run on tight ends or wide receivers. Derek Harmon, round 1. They need a tight end. They need wide receiver. I think probably Trey Harris is probably next up. There's also Isaiah Bond. Wow, this has Isaiah Bond really low. Yeah, I think Trey Harris is just next man up at the wide receiver position. Really does make sense for the Chargers. They do need help there. And we're just going to continue that run on wide receivers. Bills. Jalen Noel would be another wide. I think we had them take a wide receiver though. No, we had him take Nick Scorton. Judkins is a possibility there. Getting defensive tackle and Darius Alexander. Continuing to shore up that line. Where does this have Alexander? 617. He's gonna be a bit down here, isn't he? Yeah. But I mean, at this point, it's really just what are you looking for? It's really hard to be like, well, this one has him as 100th prospect. Again, we're on 56. There's going to be a lot of places that have them. These things very, very different. Same thing with Jonah. There's also TJ Sanders. Where do they have Sanders? 630, so a lot higher. So they actually have him right around right here. He'll be on the next page. Yeah, so yeah. This has him higher, so yeah. TJ Sanders, welcome to Buffalo. Carolina. So Carolina has had a few picks, I think. Oh, is this her second pick? Wow. We have him take tight end. Again, Jalen Knowles, possibly next man up. 626, yeah. So he's gonna be on this page. So probably next man up is Jalen Noel. Where people are looking for that wide receiver. We could also try to go edge or center. Try to go Jonah. Caleb Johnson's a possibility for running back. I actually really like that pick. Like Caleb Johnson right here would be really nice for them. Again, give them an option. Who is their current running back? Do they have a good one? Their current running back is Chuba Hubbard. But getting somebody that can kind of work with him. Yeah, let's get Caleb Johnson there. Okay. Texans. Which offensive line? Because we have them go guard round 1. So we have stuff like Ursery. Again. 625. That's not too far from where we are. Yeah. just continuing to rebuild that offensive line. They really need it. Ravens, we had you pick. Who did we have you pick? We had you pick Malachi Starks. Wide receiver here could be good. They always need wide receiver. For some reason, they just can't really figure out that position. So I actually kind of like going wide receiver right here. They could also go corner with Benjamin Morrison. Again, really help out that really bad 620. So not quite here, but not too far off. But I actually really like them going wide receiver. I don't mind them going corner right here. They could really use it. Their past defenses last season was so bad. But we're gonna go Gino. Lions, we had you pick. Who did we have you pick? Donovan Ezeruka. That takes care of that edge position. Having that guard could be nice. Corner with Benjamin Morrison. Safety. Not a ton of safeties really around here. Mukuba. Any safeties on here? Kevin Winston. I think we had Xavier Watts already go. Yeah, we already had Xavier Watts go. Billy Bowman. But we could go wide receiver. A lot of the wide receivers are gone now. So actually just kind of like them just grabbing like a Benjamin Morrison. Yeah, we're gonna have him grab Benjamin Morrison. Help out that defense even more. Commanders. So linebacker Jihad Campbell, who we had them take last time, could go tackle, could go edge with Princely. Umen will not even try with that one. 629, that's pretty decent. That's right where we are. Yeah. Bills. So Bills again. So we've had them take T.J. Sanders at defensive tackle, and we've had them take Nick Scorton at edge. And not really anything really helpful right around here. Could have them take safety. Having them take a guard might work really well. I mean, again, it's one of those things where like 28, or you can't really have too many can't really have too much in terms of offensive line. I mean, taking right here, just taking a flyer on an offensive lineman really is not the worst thing in the world. Could go Darian Porter. Again, Darian Porter might not be too bad. I think we're gonna have him take Tate Ratledge. And you just can't have it right there. You're kind of reaching for if you're going for too much for need. So just grabbing an offensive lineman that's right around where the spot should be makes sense. Might be a trade down kind of situation. And I'm not doing trades, so that's always a thing to kind of consider. Trades will happen. There's no way to predict them, so there's no point in really trying to. Chiefs. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, is who we had. Getting an offensive lineman would probably be good. We're going to have him take Marcus Imbo. And the Eagles, who we had take Donovan Jackson at offensive guard. Defensive tackle and Darius Alexander might be pretty decent. 617, that's a pretty decent value. Yeah. So, yeah, they take Darius Alexander. Giants are back on the clock. We have them having taken Tyler Shuck and Abdul Carter. Giving that, Judkins might be really nice here, actually. I actually really like Judkins right here. They could still use that help on the offensive line, obviously. So, Jonah Sabainea might be an answer here. Or there's Keishon Judkins. I'm going to have him try to fix a hole. We're going to have him take Keishon Judkins. Keishon Judkins. Chiefs are back on the clock already. Jeez. So they took off the tackle. Took DT, run 1. We're going to just have them continue. Actually, Oladejo. Oladejo. 24. Yeah. Okay. They get a really good edge. Browns. So, Browns took Jalen Milroe, round 2. They took Travis Hunter, round 1. We're gonna have them probably just take Alfred Collins here. Yeah, we're having them take Alfred Collins here. Raiders. The Raiders, we had round 2 take Trevion Henderson, and in round 1 they took Will Campbell. So there's some edge around here. Getting the edge. Darian Porter would actually be kind of nice here. So yeah, let's go Darian Porter. Patriots. Round 2, we had the Pats take Gray Zabel. In round 1, we had them take Armand Menbo. Having them take Braden Swinson here might not be too bad. There's also Mukuba. 20. Yeah, let's have him take Andrew Mukuba. Jags are back on the clock. Round 1 or round 2 they took Josh Connerly. In round 1 they took Ashton Genty. Right here, I could actually see them taking Harold Fannin. They do need a tight end, and I could see them just a big offensive draft. They do need defense, but I actually really like Harold Fannin here to the Jags, which kind of hurts because Harold Fannin is actually somebody kind of if the Broncos weren't going to get one of the top 2 tight ends of Warren or Lovin, I was kind of wanting Fannin. But I think that's just too good a value right there for Fannin. Saints. Again, Saints need everything. Who have they taken so far? Ekbuka, wide receiver. And Jaden Walker. This actually might be a spot that they're kind of looking at possibly going and getting a quarterback, but I don't know if they will. I don't think they are. I think they're gonna hold off on that. They're gonna see what they have with Ritter. They have too many needs. There's Swinson. One. Yeah, let's give them an edge rusher. Because we haven't had them take edge yet. They just need best available, and their defense really just needed help. So, Brandon Swinson it is. Bears back on the clock. Thinking Joe there could be good. Getting a wide receiver here is never bad. There's also Jared Wilson. They've done a lot of bolstering of their offensive line in the offseason. Sava. Yeah. I like them bolstering that offensive line even more. It was so bad last year. They addressed it a lot in free agency, but again, it's one of those things where you can never have too many good offensive linemen. And so we're taking Jonah Savaina. Jets. Jets. Sucks. How did the Jets mess this one up? So they've taken tight end Mason Taylor. And they have taken defensive tackle Mason Graham. Could go get Kyle Williams. Could get Jared Wilson. We could get Kevin Winston. Well, I like Kevin Winston here. Possibly. I like the idea of getting a safety right here for them. Yeah. Carolina back on the clock. Carolina's taking Caleb Johnson. And Tyler Warren. So getting a defensive player here would probably be in their best interest. Getting Jordan Bird. Yeah. 49ers. We got Maxwell Harrison in round 2. And we got Mikael Williams round 1. Getting a guard could be really nice. Could go Jared Wilson, could go Ozzy Trapilo, get some sort of protection. Could get Kyle Williams, wide receiver. Linebacker Barrett Carter might not be too bad. What's Carter's grade on here? 6.5, yeah. We haven't had him take a linebacker yet. We had corner and edge. They lost a really good linebacker. They do still have the one guy, Fred Warner, but Fred Warner is starting to kind of get up there. Having another guy next to him and just having a guy kind of learning, getting a good linebacker could be really nice. So we're gonna have him take Barrett Carter. Dallas, the Cowboys. Cowboys and Jackson Edge, just as we've had them take, and we also had them take Matthew Golden. Running back here would be kind of nice if there was one. There really isn't. Having them take offensive linemen could really help them. Could have them go linebacker, could go tight end. Defensive tackle might not be too bad. I think we're going to go Ozzy Trapilo here, though. I think just getting some help on that offensive line, protect Dak. I think he's probably just the best offensive lineman left. We're going to have him take that. Patriots. So we've had him take Mukuba at safety. Gray Zabel at guard. And Armand Membu at tackle. I think here we need to get them a target. We've kind of waited long enough. And we have a decent wide receiver right there on the board. So Williams, you are now a New England Patriot. Arizona Cardinals. All right. So Cardinals. We have had the Cardinals take Luther Burden, wide receiver. And we have had them take James Pierce, edge. Could see them go this Paul. Could see them take an offensive lineman and Emory Jones. Could try to reach for a corner and Jacob Parrish. Could go for a running back in Cam Scatabo. Oh, that's actually tempting there. Who is the Cardinals' current running back? You really should not just put in Cardinals roster. That's going to bring up baseball like so often. Position. Who do we have at running back right now? We have Trey Benson, Michael Carter, James Conner. Conner's your best one there. Like, he's definitely getting up there. We're going to go and grab from Arizona State, Cam Scatabo. Which I think he has the potential to be the best running back in the draft class. Like he is so good, and I think people are really overlooking him. I think he's been overlooked his entire career, and I think he is ridiculously good. Texans. So we had them take offensive tackle Ursery, and we've had them take offensive guard Booker. We are now wide receiver actually kind of makes sense here. I like their wide receivers, but get hurt a lot. But we're going to continue with the theme of the Texans and go offensive lineman, offensive center Jared Wilson. Colts. Wow. Colts I had the most trouble with last round. So we had them take Carson Schwessinger, linebacker. First round was super easy. They took Colson Loveland. That was super easy. Here, kind of like getting an offensive lineman. Emory Jones could work out pretty well. Getting a linebacker in Chris Paul. Emory Jones. 623. Be really good right there. This has him as a tackle. This has him as a guard. I kind of like that. Let's go and grab Emory Jones, because that means he can play kind of over the line. So yeah. Bengals. Best defensive player according to this is Chris Paul. Grant. Yeah. Make sure on here, just kind of make sure things kind of line up. Yeah, decent enough. So Chris Paul. Seahawks. We had to take Wyatt Millum, offensive guard, last round. And in round one, we had them take Josh Simmons, offensive tackle. They could try to force an offensive lineman, but there isn't in here. They do kind of need a wide receiver. Let's check on Ayo Manor. Yeah. Steelers. So, round two, the Steelers took nobody. They did not have a round two pick. Round one, we took Omari Hampton. The best player is Terrence Ferguson, but they have a really good tight end. And I'm being bad with names. Steelers. They have a really good tight end, though, if I remember correctly. And it could be complete. Freiermuth. They have a really good tight end, Pat Freiermuth. Connor Hayward's also not bad. Norman Lott. Yeah, okay. A little bit. And then Turner. So 616 and Turner. 632. Ooh. They're gonna go for the steal and get Shamar Turner. Buccaneers. Round 1. We had them, or round 2 we had them take Azariah Thomas. In round 1 we had them take Shamar Stewart. Them getting Dust DT is an option. Could also use a safety, so there is Ransom. Yeah, we're going to go and take Lathan Ransom, safety. And they're going to just continuing to rebuild that defense. He just had a lot of guys leave. That was the biggest issue. Broncos! And now I get to stop trying to force people to not take it. I haven't had to work that hard. That was nice. There were a couple of times where I was like, Ferguson could be an option. We had Higgins round 2. And Omarion Hampton round 1. I really like. And then right here, I think we just take Terrence Ferguson and run. Just run up to the podium, take Terrence Ferguson. There's some issues with him. I think he still does not fix the Broncos tight end issue. We do have Evan Ingram, but I think he's somebody that can kind of help out. He has played with Bo. So that's kind of nice. We've done that experience before with Albert O. And Drew Lock did not work out. Albert O wasn't the worst though. But I think Ferguson is just a decent pick here. We really need to bolster our tight end room. Evan Ingram is not the singular answer there. No matter what some people state, like, he's just not the singular answer. He's kind of older, doesn't have a lot of time left, and we need to. And he's kind of off and on. He's a very hot and cold tight end. So I think we just continue to bolster this, and we're gonna go get Terrence Ferguson. I am shocked Tez Johnson is that high on here. I don't think Tez gets drafted. Maybe 7th round. Tez might go in the 7th round. All of his workouts have just hurt him so much. I would love to get Tez for the Broncos as a undrafted free agent, because that is Bo's literal brother. So yeah. Chargers. So we have them take Trey Harris and Derek Harmon. So I think tight ends are still a big need for them too. Who is, and frankly, if he fell to them right here, Chargers are going Ferguson right here. So 624, yeah, I can see it. They need it. They need a tight end really bad. They just need weapons for Justin Herbert. They need weapons for him so badly. So Royal. I mean, any tight end you get at this point is not a guaranteed weapon, but it doesn't hurt. Packers. Now we still have so many picks left. The Packers have gone Jared Royals and Nick and Minwari. Getting Jacob Parrish could be really rare, but Omar Norman Lott, somebody I want to look at. $16, and then Parrish. $630. Ooh. Yeah, we're gonna go Jacob Parrish. I think either one of them is just fine. Again, it kind of depends on who you trust more. And they need that corner anyway, so the secondary just really needed help. Jacksonville. So we had to take Harold Fannin. Had them take Josh Connerly. And we've had them take Ashton Genty. So now it is time to get that defense taken care of. So there's Norman Lott and there's Gillett. And Kennard. We're going to look at Gillett. Galoti. And Kennard. We are going to have them take Omar Norman Lott. Okay. I think we've had the Texans take enough offensive linemen. I don't think there's a thing as too much offensive linemen, but still. I could see them going corner. Could see them going edge. If we go edge, we'll go get a lot of E. Or yeah, we'll go get a lot of E. So yeah, they could go Ty Robinson. He's a bit farther down. So yeah, it's kind of like that. We're gonna have them take Ty Robinson. Rams. Well, the Rams are now picking for the first time since they picked Jackson Dart. Again, Rams actually don't have too many weaknesses. Oh, the Kansas State running back is still there. And I like Giddens. I think it's the Kansas State running back I'm thinking of. Maybe not. Is it Kansas running back I'm thinking of? And I've already had him gone. Come on. Yeah. Oh, there's Will Howard. Come on. Wow, really? You're gonna do that? Okay, we're gonna go back this way. Tracker. Wow. Of course it fails. Ugh. 20, 25, and draft. Okay. Each everyone's gotta go location. Get in. Yes, so it is him. Okay. Okay. I could see them going for Giddens here. Yeah. We're gonna have him take Giddens. Why is this now not working? Oh, we might be gone from this for the... Games. We'll go here. Okay. Okay, Baltimore. Who has Baltimore taken? Jaden Noel. And Malachi Starks. Okay. Ian. Edge here could be very good with Gilloty or Kennard. I think with that we would take Gilloty. Seahawks. So you have him take Theo Manor. And then two offensive linemen in Wyatt Millum and Josh Simmons. Could go edge with Kennard. Could go offensive tackle again with Cam Williams. I think we're gonna go Kennard here. Saints. Again. Who we have him take? Braden Swinson at edge. Ekbuka at wide receiver. And Jaden Walker at linebacker. So here, I think a good thing for them to get is just best player available, which would probably be Cam Williams. Yeah. Also go Dorian Strong. I think no matter what, we're just going best player available. Guard, so Denzel Burke. We're going to go Cam Williams. The Browns. The Browns have picked Alfred Collins, defensive tackle. Jaden Milroe, quarterback. And Travis Hunter, wide receiver, cornerback. So this would mean Demetrius Knight could be good. Get another corner. Could get a guard with Miles Frazier. The wide receiver is Torrey Horton. I don't know why it has Tez Johnson this far up. Let's go get a guard. Let's get Miles Frazier. Chiefs. I think Dorian Strong could be a good one there. What have we had them take so far? Yeah, we have the Chiefs take Marcus Imbo, offensive tackle. They also took Oluwafemi Aladejo and Walter Nolan. Let's go ahead and get safety Billy Bowman. Might not be too bad. Charles Grant. Yeah. I think here it's probably these. I think it's probably Billy Bowman. Eagles has selected already. They have selected Darius Alexander, defensive tackle, and then Donovan Jackson, offensive guard. So here we're going to have them get probably just good, probably just a linebacker. Demetrius Knight works for me. Minnesota Vikings. Have they started already this round? I don't think so. Did they do anything in the second round? No, they did not have a pick. So all they have selected so far is Mike Green, edge. So here would probably be a decent place to go and get a Dorian Strong or Denzel Burke. So I can go get Dorian Strong. Miami Dolphins have already taken Siobhan Revo and Kelvin Banks Jr. So I think a good wide receiver here could be really nice for them, especially since we don't know what's going on with Tyreek. Tez is not that guy. We're gonna go Torrey Horton. New York Giants have already selected Quinshon Judkins, Tyler Shuck, and Abdul Carter. Getting a tight end could be really good, but I think getting a corner is even better for them. So we're going to go Denzel Burke. San Francisco 49ers. What have they taken so far? Barrett Carter, linebacker. Maxwell Harrison, corner. And Mikael Williams, edge. So I think this is probably a decent place to just shore up some weaknesses. Probably continuing to... Do we have him take a... Derek Carter was linebacker. And Harrison was corner. So we have not had them take any offensive lineman yet. Which I think gets rectified right now. With the selection of Charles Grant, William and Mary. The Rams. So the Rams would have taken DJ Giddens and Jackson Dart. So I think getting a decent corner here is probably priority. So Zy Alexander is where we're going. And then the Lions. The Lions, I think I know where I'm going to go with them. It's not somebody that's anywhere on here for some reason. And I don't know why. I absolutely absolutely think he needs to be a day 2 wide receiver. I probably would have taken him a little bit earlier if I had remembered it. But I haven't remembered him. I actually probably would have taken him over Torrey Horton if I had remembered. I actually think this still works just fine. And I'm going to go wide receiver. Where is he? Where is he? Wow, are people not seeing him like I do? I guess not. I was about to say Jimmy Horn. I guess he might be a day 3 pick. Yeah, we'll allow Jimmy Horn to be that day 3 pick. It still makes sense. Again, the fact that Tez is over Jimmy Horn baffles me. But I think right here, probably just taking just the best player that's available, which is probably Joshua Farmer. Yeah. Haven't taken a offensive tackle yet. And it's still defense. They need defense. So we're gonna go Josh Farmer. Full results. So, full results. We're gonna go ahead and screenshot this. I'll probably post this up a little bit later on my Twitter. So check that out. And thank you very much for everybody who joined in. Hope you enjoyed. I know by the end it was very much like, I don't know who any of these people are. But I think we still did a decent job. I actually really like our first round. I think this really does make a lot of sense. Some people fell, some people rose. But overall, I think it makes a lot of sense. Except for the Falcons, but that's because it's the Falcons. Falcons never make any sense. So yeah, that's where we will end today. Thank you very much for joining us. If you watch the stream and you haven't already, please subscribe. If you are watching the VOD, again, if you haven't already, please subscribe. We will see you next time. Should have something on Friday. We'll see. Again, never know for sure, but we should have something on Friday. So until then, thank you very much, and you have a wonderful day.